1 Lesson 1 An Introduction to the Wave Principle. Ralph Nelson Elliott first realized the wave principle. He's the first to postulate the theory that patterns in the stock market follow patterns in human behavior. He developed a rational system to follow. Elliott isolated recurrent pattern types, named, illustrated the patterns and described how the structures link together to form larger versions of the same patterns of next larger scale and so on. Ralph Nelson Elliott work can be accessed via the Elliott Wave Institute and author Robert Prechter. Elliott Wave Principle is the first set of empirically derived rules for interpreting the stock market, and is recommended as companion book to this one. I will be making reference to Elliott Waves, a comprehensive course on the wave principle, as we go along. The seventh wave principle or Sutherland Wave Principle is an independent realizing of what Ralph Nelson Elliott dubbed the wave principle and nature's law. Elliott recognized different groups of stock market patterns and what they do. The Elliott Wave Principle is the first catalog of price patterns and where they are likely to go. Elliott postulated that the market is ruled by human emotion and on the 5:3 relationships. I never knew that my research was going to become the wave principle. Without Elliott Wave Principle I would not have had a framework to know what my own research was pointing towards or how to lay out seventh wave principle as a complete system. I owe a big debt of gratitude to the Elliott Wave Principle for first publishing the groundwork that when combined with my own research became a foundation stone for seventh wave principle. I've maintained a lot of the Elliott Wave Principle and carry it over into the seventh wave principle. The need of a role model was great, for honoring and in recognition of Ralph Nelson Elliott's epic discovery and enlightenment, for Robert Prechter's preservation and distribution of the original vision, and to everyone else involved in the Elliott Wave story. Thank you. To Aximphone Yossevans, the wave principle has been realized independently, the entire market cycle decoded piece by piece over a decade of research, observation and isolation. What emerged seems to be an infinitely repeating, overlapped, interlocking series of sevens. The Sutherland Wave Principle or the seventh wave principle is a blueprint of a fixed set of laws that comprises the field that waves are contained by. Seventh wave principle defines the natural field, a container of energy, like a cup or a grail. R.N Elliott and I both agree that contrary to popular belief the news is ancillary to the wave principle, i.e. nothing outside seems to be affecting day-to-day prices. Elliott states the market has a law of its own, not propelled by linear forces. Elliott believed that the market was ruled by advancing waves of 5 corrected by a retracement of 3 waves, the 5:3 pattern relationships. I'm going to demonstrate how every single wave is made of 7 subdivisions and is in fact ruled by an infinitely repeating 7x7 relationship. Elliott states categorically that the market is not a cyclic rhythmic machine, but its movement represents structured formal progression. With the seventh wave principle I'm going to demonstrate how every single wave is ruled by the same pattern that I call the primary sequence. I'll be demonstrating how each and every wave is made from the same 7 subwaves. I will be demonstrating how every move underneath is the same sequence, but looks different because of variable ratios. The seventh wave principle has yielded the discovery of new laws that represent the place of infinities and, perhaps the very grail container of space and time. The wave principle defines an invisible container of energy, and its cycles are real and infinite. Finally we can answer the age-old question, why is the ocean wave number 7 the biggest wave? 3. The Egyptians used 7-string color-coded harps and they too were in tune with the same interlocking principle that seems to contain and rules the sound of the all. The oldest known record of a 7-layer matrix that defines all reality is laid out in the emerald tablets of Thoth, the god of knowledge in Egypt. Thoth was allegedly the first to ever to describe reality and the planes of matter as a 7-layer matrix in these emerald tablets. It's rumored that Sir Isaac Newton translated the tablets, read about a force that goes up and down, and a week later Newton announced the discovery of gravity. The seventh wave principle solidifies Elliott's vision of the wave principle and takes it out of the realms of an idealized concept and places it firmly in the realms of natural science. I will proudly continue this journey inspired by Elliott's first epic realizing of this hidden force that seems to rule nature and stock markets. I've observed and studied charts isolating wave groups and came up with 7 waves by isolation and observation of apparently different wave structures and coming to the 7. Each of the 7 waves has its own characteristics to be verified. Working with the 7 waves over time, I have then happened upon the Fibonacci laws that rule their construction, and I defined these rules in the 7th wave principle. I've discovered a sequence flowing through the charts and eventually managed to count correctly the sequence that waves makes as they build into each other in layers of time. This sequence turned out to be an interlocking, overlapping pair of numbers 1 through 7 that is the underlying key to waves construction as they join each other in different degrees in time. It may be a key to some greater mystery regarding all energy. See Lesson 15, the primary sequence. I've also discovered the central core vortex is formed by waves for 5-6. For I've found the laws that calculate the end of waves. The primary sequence wraps waves in 7 stages in a sequence that never changes. The code represents an interlocking series, cycling infinitely into the future. Some of the expected properties of waves flowing from left to right also flow from right to left. An example of this palindrome nature of waves is wave 2 can be tiny but also wave 6 can be tiny. Wave 1 can look like 3 waves and so can wave 7. These laws seem to govern movement, growth, sound waves, ocean waves, the proportions of our bodies, spiral shells, and the financial markets. Is it the law of everything? All things comprised of energy seems subject to this law of cycles in wave principle. Possibly a grand unified theory, the sequence repeats forever. Charts appear random because of variable ratios. Introduction to